uh, discussing how the Almighty Allah, having sent His prophets, when they engage their people, and the terms with which they engage them, as well as the responses they receive from their people, and what class of people were the first to respond to such messages. And when we conduct a comparative analysis of the stories of the prophets in the Holy Quran, we realize that mostly the elite class used to be the first to respond to the messages with which prophets were sent. And this is quite natural because, of course, if the elites were to accept the messages would have been accepted by all. But the fact that the elites mostly rejected the messages, that is what brought about crisis between the prophets and the recipients of the messages. The Almighty Allah said, that is, if we are to start from the first prophet ever to struggle against unbelievers, that is Prophet Noah, peace be upon him. The Almighty Allah said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. لقد أرسلنا إلى قومي فقال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم قال الملأ من قومي إنا لنراك في ضلال مبين قال يا قوم ليس بي ضلالة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين أبلغكم رسالات ربي وأنصح لكم وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون أو أجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم ولتتقوا ولعلكم ترحمون فكذبوا فأنجيناه والذين معه في الفلك وأغرقنا الذين كذبوا بآياتنا إنهم كانوا قوما عمين. صدق الله العظيم. Then these verses that I just read narrated or summarized rather to us the entire struggle of the first prophet ever to be sent to the idol worshippers. That's Prophet Noah, peace and blessings be upon him. Because idol worshiping or idolatry or paganism started with his people. The Almighty Allah summarized the story here to us how Prophet Noah addressed his people by saying, "O my people, Ya Qawmi, ubudullaha ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh." Oh my people, I invite you to come and identify one and single God and worship Him and Him alone. For you don't have any other God besides Him. Meaning that with this message, all their gods, that is the images they used to worship as gods, are rendered useless because divinity can be ascribed only to a supreme, to one a single supreme being that created the entire universe. Divinity is all by choice. One cannot choose whom to worship at will. No. You can choose what to eat, what to drink, what to wear, what to do. But when you choose what to worship, you do that at your own peril. You expect the consequences when you die. Yes, because you have not brought yourself to the world for you to decide what to do, what not to do. You are being brought by your Creator. And that same Creator enjoys the sole right to decide what He expects of you and the purpose of creating you. He enjoys the sole right of defining the purpose of your creation. So that is why Prophet Noah engaged them in these simple terms by inviting them to identify, to watch, that is to attest to the fact that there is only one and single God worthy to be worshipped. And that God is the same God that created them. You have no any other deity besides Him. That means He wanted to show them how useless those deities they used to worship were. For I fear for you if you refuse. I fear for you the punishment of a great day. That is the day of reckoning, the day of resurrection. Here, you can see Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, telling them the consequences of ignoring the message. That if they do that, they do that at their own risk. If they refuse to worship the idols, they themselves know that they expect no consequences for not worshiping their idols. Neither do they expect any reward for so doing. Even if they do that perhaps because of a fetish belief that they held that such idols were of any effect to their life. But in real essence, they expect no punishment for not worshiping the idols. Neither do they expect any reward. That means the idols do not deserve to be worshipped. So, who are the first? That is the pattern adopted by all the subsequent prophets after Noah. When we check the later prophets, when we check their stories, we find the same terms used by Prophet Noah in addressing his people. The same terms were used by Prophet Hud, Prophet Saleh, Prophet Abraham, Prophet Jethro, Prophet Moses, Prophet, all the prophets, about 25 of them who are cited in the Holy Quran, although their number is far, far greater than that, because there is a tradition reported by Abu Zar al-Ghifari, Allah well pleased with him, in which he asked the Prophet ﷺ that about the prophets. The Prophet ﷺ said they amounted to 124,000. He said, Kam adadul mursalin minhum ya Rasulullah. What is the number of the apostles among them? Not all prophets were apostles, but all apostles were prophets. A prophet is someone chosen by God and spoken to by him and appointed a prophet. And the Almighty Allah made it known to him that he is a prophet, chosen by God, and is impeccable, he is infallible. In other words, he enjoys a status of impeccability and infallibility, just as angels do. That is prophet. While an apostle or Rasul is a prophet. Having been chosen and appointed a prophet, then the Almighty Allah chose to send him to his people. That is what you call Rasul, and the plural of which is Rusul in Arabic. The singular is Rasul, the plural is Rusul. So all apostles, all Rusul were prophets, but not all prophets were apostles. So all the subsequent prophets and all the subsequent apostles sent by the Almighty Allah address their people in using the same terms that Prophet Noah used. The Almighty Allah said, قال الملأ من قومي إنا نراك في ضلال مبين قال يا قومي ليس بي ضلالة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين. The first to respond to the message was the class of elites. The elite class was the first class of society that responded to the message delivered by Prophet Noah. Why? It is quite interesting to know why the elites were first ever to respond, because they represent the leadership of the society. So whatever comes to the society, something that is very odd and new, it should be first and foremost addressed by the leadership of the society, which is represented by the elites. That's why they were first to respond. The Almighty Allah said, قَالَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْ قَوْمِهِ. The elite class of his people responded by saying, إِنَّا لَنَرَاكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Certainly, we hold the opinion, we hold the view that you have gone astray. You are in an obvious misguidance. Prophet Noah, in response to this, he said, قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ لَيْسَ بِي ضَلَالَةٌ وَلَكِنِّي رَسُولٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Oh my people, I am far, far, far away from misguidance. Rather, I am an apostle from the Lord of the universe. Here we can see, we need to appreciate the terms Prophet Noah used in responding to his people. The manner in which he engaged them. He invited them to one and true God. Instead of them to accept the message, or to argue, or rather to argue against the message, in a manner that will show that they have some proof. Instead, they condemn him to be someone who has gone astray. They claim that he went astray. What is the basis? I can't see the connection between the message he delivered and going astray. Why won't they argue against the message? Why won't they claim that there is a spiritual being than the Lord of Prophet Noah? They would have sounded more logical in their engagement. That is, if they argue that yes, there is a superior God than the one you claim to have worship. So let them mention his qualities, let them mention his attributes, let them mention his handicrafts. But they didn't. Rather, they just condemn him as someone who went astray with no basis. So instead of him to get angry, he rather responded to them in these terms. قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ لَيْسَ بِي دَلَالَةٌ وَلَكِنِّي رَسُولٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. In fact, I have no business with misguidance at all. لَيْسَ بِي دَلَالَةٌ وَلَكِنِّي رَسُولٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Instead, I'm an apostle of the Lord of the universe. Here, in response to their attack on him that he has gone astray, he affirmed his apostleship, the fact that he was sent by the Lord of the universe. At the same time, he defined the concept of the Lordship to them, for them to know what does it take to claim divinity. It's not easy. No one can. Divinity is far, far above anyone's claim. It can be assumed by only one and single supreme being, that is Almighty Allah, the creator of the entire world. So no one else can make such a claim. And it can in no way be conferred on any being by someone else. So, وَلَكِنِّي, I am an apostle of the Lord of the universe. What does the Lord of the universe mean here? For us to understand this concept, we may make, when Pharaoh received Moses and granted him audience, listened to him, in response to the message of Moses, Pharaoh said, قال فرعون وما رب العالمين. O Moses, define to me the concept of the Lord of the universe. Here, for us to know that what Pharaoh intended to know from Moses was the concept. That's why he used the word wama ma rabbul alamin. Ma means mahiya, means the concept of the Lord of the universe. So Moses, peace be upon him, said, قال رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما إن كنتم موقنين. Of course, by asking Moses to define to him that concept, he did not mean that he literal concept. Pharaoh is very much aware of the meaning, literal meaning of the Lord. But he wanted to know, for any being to deserve to be identified as the Lord of the universe, what does it, what that mean? What does that mean? That's what Moses unraveled to him by saying, Allah Rabbus Samawati, the Lord of the universe, is he who created, sustained the entire creatures of the universe, ranging from the heavens and the earth and what lies between them. Rabbus Samawati wal ardi wa bainahuma in kuntum muqinin. If at all you have any element of certainty with regard to the fact that this world was created by a supreme being, then in a very interesting manner, Pharaoh turned around to the members of his court, saying, قال لمن حوله ألا تستمعون. Interesting. Don't you listen to him? Listen. Moses went ahead in defining the concept of the Lord of the universe. قال ربكم ورب آبائكم الأولين. He said, not only did he create, sustain the entire creatures of the heavens and the earth, he is the same God that created and sustained you and your forebears. Rabbukum wa rabbu abaikum al-awwalin. Your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers, your ancestral fathers. Abaikum al-awwalin. At this point, Moses was afraid, Pharaoh was afraid that Moses is sounding more and more logical. The more he explained, the more he will convince the members of his court of the fact that there is only one and single God. And Pharaoh did not want that. He must interrupt Moses at this point. He couldn't afford losing the members of his court and of course the entire Egyptian empire to the followership of Moses. Because after all, Moses was speaking sense, was making sense in his presentation. And he was afraid of that. He did not want Moses to win the entire empire with this simple logic. That's why he interrupted him. قال إن رسولكم الذي أرسل إليكم لمجنون. At this point, Pharaoh interrupted and said, certainly this so-called apostle of yours that claimed to be sent to you is a madman. You must have gone insane. Can't you see some similarity between the attack of Pharaoh on Moses, the verbal attack, with the one launched on Prophet Noah by his people when they claimed that he was in an obvious misguidance? When they said, the elite, the members of the elite class of his people said, certainly, as far as we are concerned, you are in an obvious error. You have gone astray. Because they were afraid that he may convince the people. And they did not want that. They should rather interrupt him by attacking him. Let him be made busy defending himself rather than delivering the message. So when he is under attack, he needed to defend himself. He wouldn't continue with that is the flow of the presentation would definitely stop. Since he's being attacked, he needs to defend himself that he's not mad or he has not gone astray. So you can see the similarity of the attacks on the prophets. The same manner Moses, Prophet Noah was attacked, so was Moses. With the same terms, bad man, somebody was gone astray, someone who is insane, and so on and so forth. قال لمن هلوا ألا تستمعون قال رب السماوات والأرض وما كنتم قال إن رسولكم الذي أرسل إليكم لمجنون. So, in response to the attack, Moses did not go off track. He continued with his presentation while defending himself. He said, قال رب المشرق والمغرب وما بينهما إن كنتم تعقلون. He is the Lord of the Orient and the Occident, and all what lies between them. You can see what lies between the heavens and the earth, as well as what lies between the Orient and the Occident. That means the entire universe is covered. What lies between the heavens and the earth, and what lies between the Orient and the Occident. If at all you have some senses, because they claim, they condemn him, they said they attack him. They said he's a madman. That's why I say, if you have some sense. He didn't call them madmen as they describe him. He rather asked them if at all they have some sense. قال رب المشرق والمغرب وما بينهما إن كنتم تعقلون قال لئن اتخذت إلها غيري لأجعلنك من المسجونين. So let's go back to Surah Al-A'raf. That's where we cited the story of Prophet. No, subsequent to that story, that's after the debate, you can see, I want us to go together with at least a number of professors to see the beginning of their engagement with their people, and we follow, we compare the manner of engagement, the terms, and how the engagement came to an end, and how when they were reduced speechless, that is their people, the unbelievers, when they were reduced speechless, how they launched physical attacks on those prophets and their people, and how they lost the battle because they waged the war against the Almighty, not against the Prophet. They were bound to lose the battle. How they lost the battle to those prophets. How the Almighty Allah destroyed them utterly. So, next to the story of Prophet Noah, in the same chapter, Surah Al-A'raf, the Almighty Allah narrated to us the story of Prophet Hud alayhi salam, ala nabina Muhammadin alayhi salatu wassalam. The Almighty Allah said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa ila adin akhahum hudan, qala ya qawmi ibudullaha ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh, afala tattaqun. قال الملأ من قومه إنا لنراك في سفاهة وإنا لنظنك من الكاذبين قال يا قوم ليس بي سفاهة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين أبلغكم رسالة ربي وأنا لكم ناصح أمين أوعجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم واذكروا إذ جعلكم خلفاء من بعد قوم نوح وزادكم في الخلق بسطة واذكروا آلاء الله لعلكم تفلحون قالوا أجيتنا لنعبد الله وحده ونذر ما كان يعبد آباؤنا فاتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين قال قد وقع عليكم من ربكم رجس وغضب أتجادلونني في أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان فانتظروا إني معكم من المنتظرين فأنجينا والذين معه صدق الله العظيم. Here, the story of Prophet Noah or Prophet Hud, peace be upon him, was not in any way different from that of Prophet Noah. The manner of engagement, the terms he used in delivering the message, the responses he received from his people were all the same with his predecessor, Prophet Noah, peace be upon him. The Almighty Allah said, وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا. After Prophet Noah and his people, we sent to the nation of Ad their own brother Hud alayhi salam. قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. He used the same terms used by his own predecessor. Ya qawmi u'budullah, O my people, worship one and only God. Ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh, besides whom you have no any other deity. Afala tattaqun, won't you learn piety at least for once? Qala al-mala'u min qawmihi. You can see, just in the same way Prophet Noah said, Ubudullah ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh, inni akhafu alaykum adhab yawmin adhim. So did Prophet Hud. Worship one and only God, besides whom you have not any other God. Afala tattaqun, why won't you learn piety? While Prophet Noah warned them of a severe punishment awaiting them should they reject the message on the day of reckoning, Prophet Hud asked them to learn piety so as to avoid committing those sins that will make the punishment inevitable. So you can see the same terms, the same manner of engagement and everything. So I'm going to stop here, inshallah. When I come back in the next session, that is next Saturday, inshallah, next Sunday, same day, same time, inshallah, 10 a.m. every Sunday, inshallah. We will continue exactly where we stop. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatih lima ughliq wal-Khatim lima sabaq nasir al-haqq bil-haqq wal-hadi ila siratika al-mustaqim wa ala alihi haqq al-azim. Subhana rabbika bi izzati amma yasifun. Assalamu alaikum.